in the building is Player Talk Radio.
Get out your feelings and get into the mix where DJ Young Cuda drops some fly-ass game on you.
What is up? What is up? What is up? Hold on, let me get my levels right. Hold on. We are back in the building for another installment of Player Talk Radio. What is good? It is the kid, DJ Young Cuda. Definitely back on the ones and twos. What is going on with y'all on today's... today is what's today? Today is September 20th. Today is a Wednesday. It's hump day. So we got some hump day game for y'all. We're going to do a review. Today's show is going to open up a couple of perspectives on marriage and shit. So, we're going to cover the article, Is Cheap Sex Making Men Give Up on Marriage? So we're going to cover that article on today's show. Now, like I said, it's business as usual. We're going to get into today's show. We're going to get into today's mix also. You know how we like to do it. Email me at playertalk8@gmail.com. That is playertalk8@gmail.com if you got any questions. We're going to start doing questions on the show. I always like to have a guest with me when I do questions, though. So that's how that shit going to work. So email me. Hold on, let me say it again.
At playertalk8@gmail.com. Email me at playertalk8@gmail.com.
Email me at playertalk8@gmail.com. We're going to get into today's show. Now, the last show, I'm going to actually drop these shows in triples on Facebook. Because I haven't dropped it on Facebook. It's been dropped on YouTube. So, the last show I kind of got a little flack about the whole, rape situation with the whole Kanika Jenkins situation. So, the story is really choppy. Like I said, till I can land a real synopsis on the story, then I can actually, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I need to get that disc out of the sun. My bad, I got a disc in the sun here, and that's one of my favorite games. Y'all need to play Fallout 4. But Kanika Jenkins situation, the story keeps switching up. So it's like the story switches up so much times. It's like, what, did she die in the freezer? Was she set up? What's going on with her friends? Her friends killing themselves? All kinds of shit happening with that situation. So, that situation, we gonna hold off on that. We're gonna see how that plays out. Now, there's no real proof for shit. It's a bunch of stories. So, we're gonna chill on that. Now, my man Raydrick Davis, aka Gucci Mane, aka Goo Wop, aka, Trap God. He has a book out. I'm gonna cop this book too. It's an audio book. I'm gonna try to get that joint. I'm gonna get that joint tomorrow and listen to it. Gucci has a really interesting story. You know what I'm saying? If you know me, you know I'm one of the biggest Gucci Mane fans that's out here. You dig? And I've been following the nigga since he first came out. Real talk, son. Vet passed by, all of that shit. Nigga, I'm with it. So, that's gonna be a good story. You know what I'm saying? And, it'll be cool, too, because he might touch on the whole Jeezy situation. So, that's cool for the hip-hop heads, that, kind of knew about that whole situation. Now, on today's show, we're gonna talk about goals and setting them and actually accomplishing those goals. You understand what I'm saying? And consistency is gonna be a part of that process. Also, first of all, let me give a big shout out to my man Jermaine Fowler, man. That's my Brody. I fucks with Jermaine. That's my man. Let me just give a big shout out to him because, it's like he came a long way. So, big shout outs to Jermaine Fowler. Big shout outs to my boy Jermaine Fowler, man. Yeah, we used to go to acting class, man. Mr. Spencer, Mr. Gentry, we did all of that. We were Northwestern Wildcats. I'm a pretty funny person once you get to know me. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? I've acted before, and I've done scripts, I've written movies, I got books and all this stuff written, but I don't know. It just never took me down that path just yet. It's not something that I pursued, but it's something that I got built up to the point that I can't revisit it in the future. So, you know what I'm saying? I wanna give a big shout outs to my bro Jermaine Fowler, because you know what I'm saying, when you have somebody and you're really happy for them, it's better to watch them shine. You know what I'm saying? It's good to watch them shine because that's good for you. I like to watch people around me shine. I ain't no type of hater. I'm the type of dude that you need in your circle. I'm the type of guy that I tell you niggas to go out and go get and fuck with. You understand what I'm saying? I want to see you win. And I'm going to tell you shit that's going to make you win. And this is why I created this show. So, first of all, let's give a big shout out to my man, Jermaine Fowler. Just getting back to what I was talking about. So, shout outs to him. So, listen, man. We're going to re-up on some game on today's show. We're going to re-up on some game. Now, thank you. So, we're going to talk about the article, Is Cheap Sex Making Men Give Up on Marriage? And this is going to kind of break things down. So, on previous shows, I have talked about duplicity. And I have talked about, about like how we're different. You know what I'm saying? We're different. And then there's like a way to be, politically correct and, all of that shit. It's just a lot that we go through on a day-to-day basis. And the thing is that, we're one way in person, we're another way on the internet. We're one way at work, we're another way outside of work. We're one way with a girl we're interested in, we're another way with our actual spouse. We're one way, we switch up a lot. People have actually become bipolar because of this. And people have actually, become versatile. You know what I'm saying? Cause sometimes you're in church and shit, and then the pastor's daughter or whoever just starts looking good, and you start to think to yourself, and then what comes to your mind is like, it's disgusting, cause we're disgusting motherfuckers, man. Let me stop playing, man. Let me stop playing. But wild thoughts, nigga. So before we get into today's show, man, we're gonna talk about a lot of shit. Real talk. So we're gonna re-up on games. So thank you for fucking with the kid. It's the kid, Young Cuda, definitely back in the building, back on the ones and twos, man. We are about to be 8 minutes in this goddamn shindig. So what I want to do is I'm going to hop on the ones and twos and do what I like to do. We like to blend some music. So, you guys tune in. And then, we're going to get into the Is the Cheap Sex Making Men Give Up on Marriage article. So, we're going to get into all of that shit, man. Because that's what the fuck we do. I want to actually do a show on the 20 signs were you raised by a toxic parent. Because that's a really prevalent show that's going on in today's age, now that, responsibility is getting put on a lot of, different things now. So, that's what we're doing. So, listen, man. Let's get into a little bit of news before we get into the mix. Oh, man. So, it says not 20 signs. Ladies, let's get into the news. Now, the iPhone X has dropped. And it has face recognition, so a lot of girls aren't going to be able to unlock their iPhones when they take their makeup off. My man LA Truth got a message for y'all, so let's see what he got to say. Let's listen.
8X is coming out, the facial recognition system, and it's been brought to me that a lot of women are upset right now about the facial recognition thing because a lot of women wear makeup and they know that if they buy this new device, they won't be able to wear their makeup because it's not going to recognize their face. Listen, ladies, you got to make a decision. Either you're going to wear the makeup or not wear the makeup. If you're going to wear the makeup, you got to make sure you have the makeup on every time you operate this new iPhone. Or just go on over to Android where you can do what you want to do. I just want to say this before I get off here, man. All women are beautiful the way you are. You don't need makeup, so don't let the iPhone change your perception of how you want to look every day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But you have to make a decision. iPhone X users, makeup or no makeup, ladies. Choose. Man, fuck. First of all, I just want to talk.
That's funny, man. That's real funny. Shout outs to our girl, man. Our sister Issa Rae, man. She has now became the new face of CoverGirl, man. Shout outs to her. That's a big thing, man. Shit, that's a big ass thing, man. Yeah. Shit. Shout outs to Issa Rae. Shit. Shout outs to Issa Rae. And you know what's funny too? What I like about Issa Rae, I'm gonna start watching Insecure. I'm gonna get a friend. Actually, I already got my friend that I'm gonna watch Insecure with. Actually, I'm gonna watch Insecure. My young lady. My lady. I ain't gonna tell you who she is, but my lady. I'm gonna watch Insecure with her. So, I like Issa Rae because she kind of shows the reality of dating. What I like about the reality of dating is that it's the average girl. It's the average girl that really knows what you want, man. I'm telling you guys, really, I swear by this shit. It's the average girl, or the little. It's what you really want to shoot for is like an 8 or a 9. You understand what I'm saying? When you really get up there, you want to shoot for at least a 7.5 to 8 and 9 to you, because it's the average girl that's kind of gonna make it. You know, the ones that got little shit to them, and like little quirks and shit about them and shit. Them the ones that's really, they really about that shit. You dig what I'm saying? With the whole loyalty tip. You dig? So I like Issa Rae. She's cool. I'm gonna start watching that show. I know I've commented on that show, but I'm gonna start watching that show. Me and Khadijah actually, when Khadijah was on the show, we talked a little bit about Issa Rae. But listen now, talking about loyalty, let me let y'all hear something. This is pretty cool. I find this poem really, or whatever, spoken word really good, man. I like this sister too. Alright, let's get it real quick, and then we're gonna get into the mix. Let's get it.
Niggas focus on how many hoes he can hit. Kings focus on how many goals he can hit. Niggas are concerned with new clothes and kicks. Kings turn up their nose at such childish shit. Cause new clothes and kicks ain't paying back loans and rent, or helping him build his business. That shit just collecting lint. See, a king only buy it if he can sell it for more. Niggas just get excited and get what's on sale at the store. King's trying to feed his family plus the next generation. Niggas just live for the moment so the rest don't even faze him. As long as he got him a bad bitch to take home to his mama basement, then nothing else matters but his current situation. See, niggas are the type of men that only like you for your breast and behind. Now, kings like that too, but more impressed with your mind. Cause a king understands that looks fade over time. But what you possess internally is what makes you divine. And too many times us women get these two confused. Screaming out we want a real nigga, then wonder why we end up being used. So I think it's time that we choose to represent for our kings. And tell these niggas hit the bench and put a king on our teams. Because kings reign supreme. Now tell me, what the fuck does being a real nigga even mean? Peace, kings.
That was cool. That was cool. I really like that. That was cool. So, let's see. Okay. Yeah, man, we are in here, man. We are kicking it, man. So, let's get back to the show, man. So, alright, y'all, let's get into the mix, man, because I'm ready to mix some shit up, man. Got a lot of shit going on, especially in the background. Today is hump day, man. Let's get into this hump day game, man. So, about to get into the mix, man. The kid Young Cuda definitely in the building, man. Shout out to my boy Gerard. Shout at him out the last couple shows. That's my nigga. Shout out to that boy Cash. This mix is dedicated to the real ones, man. Whether you in a relationship, whether you consider yourself a real nigga, we about to mix it up. And we about to turn up. So I'm gonna turn up. We're gonna come back in and we're gonna discuss the topics, man. We're on a real relaxed show today, man. We're not doing nothing big. We just kicking it. Bicking back, being cool, you know what I'm saying? We just kicking it. So let's get it, man. Look here, y'all cooler, man. Let's get it.
You're now in the mix with the young DJ Cuda.
Tonight we gonna be going in.
On the ones and twos and twos.
Let's get it.
On Player Talk Radio.
Shout outs to the DJs. Shout outs to the DJs, man. Email me at playertalk8@gmail.com. That's playertalk8@gmail.com. Let's get it, yo. Let's go.
Shit, I'm deep and I'm fired up. All I want tonight is just get high. Getting in so good, it's the die for. The food and pussy good, it's the die for.
Get out your feelings and get into the mix. With DJ Young Cuda. Drop some fly-ass game on you.
You're now in the mix with the young DJ. Now in the mix with the young DJ Cuda.
Tonight we gonna be going in.
My resume is really enough for 2 millennium. A better way to make a way, start defending them. I meditate and moderate all of my wins again. I'm hanging on the fence again. I'm always on your mind. I put my lyric and my lifeline on the line. And ain't no limit when I might shine, might grind. You might shine, might grind. You might shine. Only for the dollar sign.
Bad girl, leave me now. Swear, 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 leave it now. On your pulse, like a CBM. Gas in the bitch, screw me in. Hard ass in the bitch, all in the fast lane. Been a bad bitch with before and the cash came. I'm established, 100 carats. I'm a name with an atlas. I'm a natural, I'm a ray.
I'm a savage, I'm an asshole, I'm a king. Shimmy out, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. You can tell your nigga, you can make me outside. You can give me shit when I'm outside. Ain't no one to love like the ones I know. I done been down so low, I done came down hard, I done snuggled up all the real one. I said hit 'em, and I'm fired. All I want tonight is just get high. Loyalty, loyalty.
It's Player Talk Radio. Let's get it.
Ricky Rock.
Player Talk Radio.
Get out your feelings and get into the mix. With DJ Young Cuda. Drop some fly-ass game on you.
Price, prices, going up. Prices. Big bad, I slide. Prices, going up. Hold on. Prices. What's the price? What's the price? Prices going up. Prices. Hold on. Yeah, I slide. Going up. Hold on. Price. Bad Mona Lisa. Bad slide with my people. Pink slip for the ride. But what's in the trunk, it's illegal. Came from dimes. no cosign. You can read between the lines like a pro skater did my own grind. Tell them what the preacher preach about. Tell me what the teacher teach about. I'ma go find me a better route. That bullshit and cap, you can leave it out. Ain't talking but ain't tryna hear me out. Won't open the door tryna leave me out. I'ma pull up and just empty out. Come through, just make sure you clear me out. What's the price? Prices going up. Prices. Price. Bad I slide. Prices going up. Hold on. Prices. Price. What's the price? Prices going up. Prices. Hold on.
The mix with the young DJ Cuda.
Now we gon' be going in.
Going up, hold on. I do not care what this tag gon' say. I done brought out a big bag that I just pulled up with the magnet. I don't plan on going outside this. Eddie show, close the curtain to go. Hop in the iron and lift up the door. Young rich nigga more old. Got your hoe at the condo, no clothes. Yeah, climb on a young nigga pole. Yeah. You don't wanna go there. Sticks in the Dracos in here. Got racks in the back of my pants. Got racks in the pants. Bitches, they fuck for a bag. They gon' go out sad. Bad Mona Lisa. Bad. Slide with my people. Pink slip for the ride. So it's in the trunk, it's a...
Let's play us on radio. Let's get it, man.
Pop a perky just to start em. Pop 2 cups of purple just to warm up. 2 cups. Pop a perky just to start em. Pop 2 cups of purple just to warm up. 2 cups. I heard your bitch she water. Splash, drip, splash. Slippery. Excuse, please me. I'm up, believe me. Cause I'm raw rich. You can bet on me.
Play us on radio, man. We had to pour some lean on it, man. Let's get it.
Girl, as long as you wrap your arms around me.
Get out your feelings and get into the mix. Where DJ Young Cuda drops a black ass game on you.
I'm getting you wherever you want. Listen to your I'm the only young nigga who poppin' that. Out there jumpin' out there, he dead like who coppin' that. New G-Wagon got a brag and put a lock on that. Niggas always in her DM, she don't holler back. Whoop that, copy that. Cuffin', I been cuffin', Chanel bags like it's nothing. And she loved him, he was nigga, he was bluffing. She said fuck him, he let that go on like he bugging. Now she thuggin' with a real one. I been ballin' on you cause you smart and loyal. Know me, homies know me best, they say I'm falling for you. These slippery bots be slippery like tryna walk on oil. And I be there long as you there when I be calling for you. Girl, as long as you wrap your arms around me.
Hey, we are in the building tonight. That was today's mix, man. We did it, man. So let's get it, man. Let's get into today's show, man. It is the kid Young Cuda. I'm definitely in the building. For this little bit of time that I am in the building. You dig what I'm saying? So, let's make the most of it, man. Alright, y'all.
Damn, son. Yeah. You just been cracked in the head with another DJ Young Cuda exclusive.
You just been cracked in the head. Alright. Okay. I'm showing off on today's show, man. Let me stop. Oh, let me stop playing, man. Okay, so we're gonna go over today's Hump Day game. Is cheap sex making men give up on marriage? We're going over this article that was written by Larry Getlin. Larry Getlin. It's been written by Gary Getlin on September the 2nd, 2017 at 5:08 p.m. That's when it's been updated, so it's been out. Okay, so he said, thanks to cheap sex, marriage may be doomed. The share of Americans ages 25 to 34 who are married dropped 13 percentage points from 2000 to 2014. A new book by sociologist Mark Regnerus blames this declining rate on how easy it is for men to get off. Okay, so already he's starting off one-sided. We're gonna call this man R. I'm gonna just say Regnerus. I think that's what his name's spelled. Regnerus. So Regnerus. He's Regnerus on today's show, like shit. So Regnerus calls it cheap sex, an economic term meant to describe sex that has very little cost in terms or emotional investment, giving it little value. And that makes sense because people watch porn. We live in an instant society, so this may have, going into this article, this may have a little bit of leverage to it. Alright, so let's see what he says. Let's cut the music out. Regnerus bases his ideas in part on the work of British social theorist Anthony Giddens, who argued that the pill isolated sex from marriage and children. Add online pornography, like I was just saying, and dating sites to the mix, and you don't even need relationships. This is actually true. And I actually talked about this with the internet changing the dynamics of dating. Check that show out. It says the result of two overlapping but distinctive markets, one for sex and one for marriage, with a rather large territory in between comprised of significant relationships of varying commitment and duration. I don't know what the fuck they just said, but basically what I want to tell you is there's different types of relationships going on out here that really has no real meaning to it. But a lot of people are bored, and a lot of people don't really pay attention to why they get into shit. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes at the moment you entertain a situation because you was bored, and then when you actually get into the situation, you like, why'd I do this? You understand what I'm saying? That's what happens. So there's a lot of different weird ass relationships that's going on right now that's making you pay attention to different things. But see, it's interpreted as love, and then what happens is you start being serious about a playful situation. And when you start being serious about a playful situation, it's just a matter of time. And it don't matter if it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, sometimes 10. This is just how relationships pan out. You understand what I'm saying? So he says the results of two overlapping but distinctive markets, one for sex, one for marriage, with a rather large territory in between comprised of significant relationships varying in commitment and duration. Same shit I just said, but these niggas just use big words. I mean, I understand what they're talking about, but I'm just saying, to break it down to people that really don't understand what they're talking about, they're just using big words just to say the same shit that I said. There's a lot of different types of relationships out here. And also, if you checked out the last show where I talked about the Madonna whore complex, remember, there's a gray area in relationships. Men only see women as two things, either whore or wife, slut or wifey material. The gray in the middle is what is fantasized about. And also the gray area gets entered in when you get into certain relationships. Because certain relationships, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the third variant of either this, that, or third. So the gray is always mixed. It's always psychological because things are mixed into it. In generations in the past, he says, women generally made men wait until marriage to have sex, to get a wife and, therefore, sex. Men had to be clean and presentable and have a good job. This Regnerus reasons gave men all the motivation they need to become respectable members of society. You understand what I'm saying? So when a man gets his shit together, like I was talking about with the Madonna whore complex, when a man gets his shit together and they're clean and presentable and have a job, you understand what I'm saying? He's considered husband material. You understand what I'm saying? The gray area is when he doesn't have it together, when he's in pursuit of those things, when he's doing something, he's still slut material. You understand what I'm saying? And usually, to kind of distinguish the two, you have to go at a man that has his mind made up. And that's all for your judgment, ladies. What do you consider a man having his mind made up? Because you naturally already do right now. But when you pay particular attention to it, you'll see what I'm saying. So, you understand what I'm saying? It's duplicity. Because a lot of guys that don't have that will pretend like they have that. And fellas, a lot of women that pretend like they have wifey qualities until you date them or you get with them and you really see what their real situation is and how they carry their situation. This is what you have to judge on. Do you understand? But you also have to understand the gray area. So he's kind of placing the blame on men. Because men do hold the key to marriage. You understand what I'm saying? But you have to understand that at best marriage is just a title. Like I said in past shows, marriage is just a title. So, ooh, I got an email. So, let's get swanky with this game real quick. Alright. I'm just fucking around, man. I'm just telling y'all, I'm just breaking the shit down. So, he said in generations in the past, women generally made men wait until marriage to have sex, to get a wife, and therefore sex. So men had to be clean, presentable, have a good job. And you know, as a man, you not only have to prove this to your lady, you know you have to prove this to her family. And in a lot of cases, you have to prove this to yourself. But he says, as I stated before myself, now with porn and the internet and stuff, you know, but he said now with porn on demand, greater reproductive freedom, sex is a commodity available at any time. This has left men with little motivation for marriage, writes Regnerus, who cites a demographer, Steve Ruggles, predictions that 1 of every 3 people in their 20s will ever marry. Regnerus blames cheap sex for the decrease in education and employment rates among men as greater numbers of women get college degrees and enter the labor force. That's kind of a skewed, flawed perception, but okay. He says 6% or more of women than men in the 25 to 34 age group have a bachelor degree, which don't mean shit in today's society. Regnerus backs his theory up on a quote from social psychologist Roy Baumeister. These niggas have some challenging last names. And Kathleen Vose, who studied this phenomenon. Nowadays, young men can skip the wearying detour of getting an education and career and prospects to qualify for sex. They write, sex has become free, sex has become easy. This is today's version of the opiate of the male masses. Regnerus argues that while women have maintained their role as sexual gatekeepers, which they haven't, men have control of the marriage market, which we do have. And given the ease which sex can be accessed, Regnerus believes that the men's motivation for marriage have all but disappeared. He surveyed 15,000 people and found that among unmarried respondents under 40, every 82 men who wished to be married, 100 women said the same. Okay. He says this ratio, he says, keeps the ultimate relationship power in the hands of men. To plenty of women, it appears that men have the fear of commitment, but men on average are not afraid of commitment, Regnerus writes. The story is that men are in the driver's seat in the marriage market and optimally positioned to navigate it in a way that privileges their sexual interests and preferences. It need not be even a conscious behavior on their part. In turn, he writes, this lead women to settle into entering to doom or otherwise unsatisfying marriages. Now, what I want to say to add to that is, you know, the crazy thing is, marriage is gonna be a thing of the past, man. Polygamy's coming back in. I'm being dead serious. I'm calling it right now. Polygamy's coming back in. There's so many alternate relationships out here. And it's not about it being alternate relationships. It's about these relationships having a novelty to them. See, that's what people fall in love with. They don't fall in love with, you know, oh, we have a weird relationship. No, there's a novelty in it. That's the glitz and glamour. That's the part that you pay attention to. The novelty of a relationship. But nowadays with the internet and, you know, dating and shit, y'all are having a lot of one night stands. You understand what I'm saying? Having a lot of one night stands. We're actually being polygamous, which is crazy. Crazy thing is too, also, is that with what's going on in today's society, these one night stands are manipulating, and TV and the internet and everything, they're manipulating your perception on what is a relationship. And when you have things like television and the internet and, you know, Disney movies and shit manipulating your perception on what a relationship is, what happens is this is gonna affect your perception of a relationship. And when it affects your perception of a relationship, this is ultimately gonna perfect. I said perfect. This is ultimately gonna fuck. I lost my thought. I was on the train of thought. Anyway, this is ultimately gonna affect how you, like, what emotions you project on the opposite sex. You understand what I'm saying? How they make you view women is gonna project how you put your perception of how someone is. This shit don't make sense to nobody. What I'm saying is that you actually have a perception on relationships, and then you actually have a perception that you go out with when you're actually out here in a dating arena dating. And what it's gonna do is gonna in a lot of cases make you put false projections onto the people in your immediate circle. This is why a lot of people have a lot of failed relationships, because they're going off of what TV's telling them, they're going off of what their phone is telling them, they're going off of what they see on Facebook, they're going off of what's going on in their real life, and then they take these things and they project it onto you, fellas. That's why I tell you, fellas, when you hook up with women, you have a window, because women are gonna automatically, but you too, as a man, they're gonna project their emotions, and they're gonna project what's going on in their life. They're gonna project these things on you. In a lot of cases, you will get credit for more than what you really are with a lot of women. Do you understand what I'm saying? That type of shit. So what I mean by that is, you know, what he's talking about when it comes, I deviated so far off the topic. What he's talking about when it comes to women, you know, settling for marriage, you know, fellas, you're always taught that, and women too, you're always taught that the vagina is a special thing. You understand what I'm saying? Where in reality, if you're really for equality, both sexual organs, they're the same shit. The problem with men is that we put sex in like a sport category. We look at sex as a sport. And the reason with, you know, porn and all this other stuff and the internet and everything being so instant added to it, what happens is that you're going to view your immediate circle, especially your sexual circle, as a sport. It's easy to get some pussy. And see, women take the cue of men and they're following what men does. So women are viewing sex as a sport. You understand what I'm saying? If you have somebody out here that's a gatekeeper, or that's called a gatekeeper, or that figures themselves as a gatekeeper, because women, when you really look at it from a spiritual standpoint, they are a deity. And they are the gatekeepers. They're the portal. You understand what I'm saying? But they themselves don't understand it. That's why they listen to the show and get this game. They themselves don't understand it. And they like to hear a man so elegantly speak it. You understand what I'm saying? Well, when I say that shit, they womb tremble. They whoo. Let me stop playing around with y'all. But you understand what I'm saying? They are the portal. So it is a deity. They're the mirror. We had shows talking about this. But they themselves don't understand it. So when you have the person that's taking on the so-called role of the gatekeeper, what happens when the gatekeeper views sex as a sport? You get yourself a hoe. But that's further game. That's further game. And a lot of women are undercover hoes. So let's get back to this Let's get back to this article. But it has to be conserved. You see what I'm saying? This is why they go for what they go for. Like I said, duplicity. A woman will tell you, I want this type of man just to seem right. But she wants the other type of man. And she only dates one type of man. You understand what I'm saying? Rigneris even points to 50 Shades of Grey to prove his point in the book. Christian Grey gets Anastasia Steele to agree to a series of submissive conditions, including any sexual activity deemed fit and pleasurable by him, with no such power returned on her end. I recognize that 50 Shades is fiction, Rigneris writes. It's made up, but when you sell 100 million copies in 2 years, your narrative is resonating. There is something to it. And that's true. See, I say there's something to it because we live in a society where women are... See, the difference between men is we exhibit our emotions. But we use logic when it comes to feeling a certain way. When someone dies, it's only right to feel sad because we were domesticated and taught to feel sad. You understand? But what I want to talk about is there's a drought in real men out here. There's not real men like myself or niggas putting down knowledge like they should be in a lot of cases. And what happens is women exhibit their emotions. Like I tell you guys, if you stop begging for sex, you'll get all the sex you want. If niggas wasn't thirsty and used their logic, they would get all the sex they want. Because in a lot of cases, your emotions make you the weaker species. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're weak. But I say that to say this. when you put a woman, in a lot of cases, in an emotional position to answer a question, you can manipulate an answer. And this is game. When there's a drought of not real men out here, women go after what's perceived as the alpha male, which not always is going to be an alpha male. What happened is you got hybrids out here. You know, you got beta males with alpha qualities and shit like that. Anywho, that's with the meshing though. We're not talking about the meshing in the sexes just yet, or in dating. But what I'm saying is that when women feel that there's a lack of something, they will go into their emotions a little bit quicker than a man would to go into his logic as to why there's a lack of that. Women don't care that there's a lack of real men out here. They only care because they can't depend on nobody. They're more fixated on why they can't depend on men than the actual problem of there actually being a lack of real men out here. You would think that if there was a lack of real men out here, there'll be a committee of women standing together saying, hey, let's all get together and raise real men. But there isn't. They say it for PC purposes, but behind closed doors, there isn't. So, what happens is, there's whether stated or not, there actually is a lack of men out here. And when you convince a woman about something, they will take an emotional route way before they'll take a logical route. Like I said, they'll be more mad because there's a lack of men out here, no solution based. Whereas the man that takes a logical route is solution based. These fathers need to be back in the household. We have the answers. Now, when a woman's put in a position to feel that there's a lack of something, her emotions will convince her that the lack of something is a necessity. If we all walked around barefoot, but this one lady walked around with shoes, and you tell her, look, there's not going to be no more shoes anymore that she's used to walking around with while everybody else is walking around barefoot, she will freak the fuck out. Because something that's there is not always going to be there. Something that's reliable that she could have relied on is not always there. There's a lack of it. So when you get emotional about something being there and it's not there no more, you're gonna obsess. You're gonna react over it. And you're not gonna be solution based. Whereas that's where men come in. Because another quality that women need is reassurance. Reassurance is integrity. Reassurance is knowing that something could be done. Reassurance is seeing her freak out over something, taking what she's freaking out over, get her to trust in you. You lead her to a destination where what she think that she was freaking out over wasn't as serious as she thought. And when you do that, she can trust in you and reassure that she can trust in you. And reassure that she can trust you to lead her to solution. That's called being an emotional rock. That's why when I do simp busting, it's funny. Now let's finish this article. But what I'm saying is that it'll be a necessity. So there is a necessity. There is a loss out here for real men. There ain't no real men out here. Not for real, for real. So the thing is that women will, do certain things like wifey qualities too. Because just because there ain't no real man out here don't mean that she's still not a woman. She wants to submit to you. She wants to serve you. And for the people that want to be politically correct, no, she's not his servant. She's not a maid. She wants to be with you. She wants to do things with you. She wants to coexist with you. So, he says, the story that men are in the driver's seat in the marriage market are optimally positioned to navigate it in a way that privileges their sexual interests and preferences. It need not even be conscious behavior on their part. In turn, he writes, this leads to women to settle into entering doomed or otherwise unsatisfying marriages. So we talked about that. We talked about the 50 Shades of Grey. So he says, meanwhile, many will go at it alone. Self-love for men and women is at an all-time high. In 1992, a study found out that 29% of men and 9% of women masturbated at least once a week in 2014. That goes in with narcissism, too. 49% of men and 32% of women confessed to doing it at least once in the previous 6 days. Unsurprisingly, as frequently as watching porn increased, so did masturbation. Because porn coerced masturbation, y'all. He says all of this, Regnerus concludes, means as long as sex is so low cost for men, heterosexual women will have increasing difficulties finding a partner worth committed to. In the domain of sex and relationship, men will act as nobly as women and collectively demand. That's interesting. He writes, this is an aggravating statement for women to read, no doubt. They do not want to be responsible for raising men, but it's realistic. And that's the end of that. But this is true, ladies, now that sex is getting real cheap. Like, who are you, son? Who are you? And this is a question that men should ask, though. Like, for real, like, y'all niggas treating broads out on dates. Y'all doing shit. You don't know that bitch. For real. I hate to say it like that. You don't know her. You don't know her. Taking broads out. Showing them the, you know what I'm saying? Showing them the world. Taking them on dates. And you know what's crazy? Sometimes the dates that you take them on are better than some of the relationships they've ever been in. You know what I'm saying? Take her out. Let her go eat Ethiopian food. Take her out some Ethiopian women. Or Eritrean women. You know what I'm saying? Take her to Chinatown. Y'all go eat some ramen noodles, man. Or take her to Rosa Mexicana. Go get some Italian shit. Show her something. Show you got character to you. You understand what I'm saying? You see? Message, man. You take her out the party, man. You know, you looking at this girl, you like, man, bitch, you need to live. Stop staring at your phone all the fucking time. You out on a date with me. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, let them work for your attention, man. And what's wrong with a man asking for what he deserves? Because, fellas, I tell you, man, what you deserve kind of is a little bit more important than what she deserves. Because you're the emotional rock, man. What type of stones do your girl like? She like diamonds? Diamonds is a rock. You understand what I'm saying? A rhinestone. Then you got pebbles. Some girls settle for pebbles. If you get my metaphor. Let me stop playing, man. I'm about to get up out the building, man. Y'all be easy, man. It's the kid, Young Cuda. I just come on here to provoke the thought. Maybe I answered some of the questions. Maybe I didn't. I don't fucking know. But this was Player Talk Radio, man. If you have any questions, email me at playertalk8@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? But fellas, man, start demanding more from women, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she do little shit, don't like it. Like, sometimes she do something, like she talk to you a certain way, like, man, I don't like the way this bitch talks to me. I liked you 2 minutes ago, I don't like you no more now. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes y'all just dealing with these little rough bitches. You know these little rough bitches? Like, they always got an attitude and shit. You little rough bitches. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you just gotta take the soft route. You know what I'm saying? Go with the flow. Sometimes you don't always gotta fight fire with fire. You know, sometimes you deal with a bitch and she like, what do you want? And you be like, man, bitch, shut up. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, man, who you talking to? You, beautiful. it's sad. You gotta take these psychological turns and shit. Mental gymnastics, man. They start off. Sometimes you gotta, you know, she got an attitude on her, you know what I'm saying? Or she got a hard face. You know, some girls be having a hard face, but when you talk to them, they cool as fuck. There's a lot of girls out there like that. You just gotta start a conversation with them. But sometimes, you know, if you got one of these little rough bitches out here, because, you know, these little rough bitches, that's their little exterior and shit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta approach that bitch and just be really into it. Just be like, you know what, man? For real, honestly, you put on like you a hard ass, but I know real talk, deep down inside, you a little softy. Boy, you tell a bitch some shit like that, oh, deep down inside, you a little softy. You act like you hard, but for real, we all know. You understand what I'm saying? She either gonna be like, boy, if you don't get your, you know what I'm saying? Or she gonna be like, she, you know what I'm saying? She gonna respond to that. That's just saying, listen, man, you may act like a hard ass, but we know what you really is. You understand what I'm saying? She may open up to you. It's not how you say it, it's how you say it, man. I'm just fucking around, man. It's the kid, Young Cuda. Definitely back in the building. DJ Cuda back on the ones and twos, man. What type of girl you like, man? You want to deal with the dime? Do you want to deal with the bad girl? What do you want to deal with, man? Are you surprised because she listened? Because you too used to dating hood rats? Hood rats don't listen, man. I'm just saying. Alright, man. Y'all clap it up, man. That was today's show, man. Let's get it, man. The kid Young Cuda definitely back on the ones and twos, man. You are tuned in to Player Talk Radio, man. We got some new shit coming up, man. So let's get it, man. Let's get into it. 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 Kid Young Cuda, man. We are in the building, man. It's Player Talk Radio. Email me at playertalk8@gmail.com. If you like today's show, donate at CUDAKID the number 8. CUDAKID the number 8 at yahoo.com. Go through PayPal, man. Let's get it. It's the kid Young Cuda.
Baby, does he do it for you? When he's finished, does he step
Damn, son, yeah. You just been cracked in the head with another DJ Young Cuda exclusive.
Cause your time is money and I won't let him waste it.
Fellas, find out what type of girl you like, man. We're gonna talk about what type of girl you like on the next show, man. Find out. I'm gonna narrow down your choices on the next show. Let's get it.
When you're with me, I can't explain it. Every we can take it all. Or act like you're my girl, let's get the bit. Whoa, no. He's irreplaceable. You're worth the taste, you're burning out. It's alright, I'm not dangerous. When you're mine, I'll be generous. You're irreplaceable.
You're now in the mix with the young DJ Cuda.
Just like I'm